to you guys about being different. Nice intro. Yes? Okay. So, as a person who, let's say, doesn't necessarily fit into the status quo or anything else, I've noticed that the changes in myself, like what it does to me, and I've realized that being different, seeing difference, strengthens you, me, everyone. Okay. How? Traveling in a country where being darker is not the majority, and traveling in places where women look a certain way in any skin tone, and traveling amongst travelers when they're usually backpackers, not single parents, not all these things set you on the outside, on the outskirts. And you either continue doing what you're doing or you stop and you fit in. And today and in this time, we are usually encouraged to fit in because it makes everything easier and it makes things comfortable. But does it make you you? Does it strengthen your true identity in who you really are? Or does it just make you lazy and make you not you? Are you turning into someone who you're not? And even for me, like, I see people every day doing things that I wouldn't do. Nothing negative, just ways I wouldn't live, behaviors I wouldn't take. And my first reaction, of course, especially in the beginning, it's lessening now, is to judge them. Like, why are you doing that? It doesn't make sense. Like, blah, 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 blah. And I still struggle with those thoughts because a lot of things I see don't make sense to me. But then when I have time to think about it, I realize that it doesn't have to make sense. Like, some things just don't have to make sense. And I know that sounds stupid and counterproductive, but some things don't need to make sense to you. It needs to make sense to the person doing them. It should be productive to the person doing them because, why do it? Yeah, you can do things for fun and do things, I don't know, just because you put on a red shirt instead of a blue shirt. It doesn't have to make sense. And I know that sometimes the way I explain things, maybe it doesn't make sense to you in the moment, but if you let what I'm saying absorb into you, you'll see that it actually does make sense. You don't need to have an explanation for every single action in your life. And every single action in your life doesn't need to make sense to everyone in your life, everyone in the world. It just doesn't. You need to know what you're doing is leading you closer and closer to the you that you're supposed to be, is strengthening the you that you're supposed to be. So a lot of times it's probably not going to make sense. And sometimes I feel like, especially right now in this moment, that the things we do don't make sense because it's our own language to ourselves. You know how, like, if you speak a language and you hear someone else speaking a language that you don't understand, and you're like, what are they saying? Then you try to make up all these ideas in your head about, oh, they're probably saying this, they're probably saying that, oh, yeah, they're probably saying that, or they're probably talking about me. And then if you could have Google Translate on deck or ask Siri, they're probably just talking about something like, I'm going to go to the shop today and pick up some items for dinner, some ingredients to cook with. And you're like, oh, yeah, I do that. That's what I mean. A person's language, a person's behaviors, a person's actions make sense to them. And though you don't understand their actions, they understand them. And even if they don't understand them, eventually they'll figure out the language for themselves. Let's get to shaving. See, Talking helps me shave better. Shaving helps me think better. So if I sleep and my eyes got just woke up. And one last thing before I go. You know, when you're in high school, you see people, they group up in cliques. You know, they have the nerdy cliques and the theater cliques, which I was part of that, the drama kids. Then they have the math kids. I was also a part of that. They have the cool kids, the sporty kids, the this, and this. Okay, and I get it. Groups serve a purpose, and they give you a sense of belonging, and that's nice. It's great. I mean, it really is. I know I sound like I'm being sarcastic, but I am a little bit, but I'm also being honest at the same time. It is great, but it's great up to a point because it can also serve to separate, and not just separate. That's not really the biggest issue for me. The biggest issue I find is that it separates and puts things into a hierarchy. There's no hierarchy. The athletes aren't greater than the kids on the academic decathlon. The kids on academic decathlon aren't greater than the drama kids. Drama kids aren't higher or more important than the kids in cosmetology classes. The kids in the cosmetology group aren't better than the kids at the gamers. The gamers aren't better than the kids who, you know, are the coolest. Like, it's just, it's okay to coexist in difference. Like, you don't have to all be the same and think the same and do the same things. You can coexist with someone and you all can be great. Remember that, please. And in my next video, while I'm going to use this razor to shave because my clippers, they're great-grandfather clippers. They're old, okay? I'm going to be talking about how we should all be using our own brain cells and not using the brain cells of others to tell us what to do. Okay. Think about that. I'm going to try to post it. I'm going to post it. And I want you guys to have a nice day. And remember that being different, seeing difference, strengthens you. Ciao for now, y'all. Bye. Toodles.